So we're going to move off from Dennis Smith and talk about the Mavericks. So there's reports that they're trying to trade up into the lottery, and I don't really know why. I feel like they're pretty much set at every position, and they should use their cap space to probably sign another star. But in your opinion, what do you feel like is the missing position or piece for the Mavericks?
Well, one thing that they really need to improve is their defense. At their best this past season, they were middle of the league, 15th in defensive rating, and then they kind of fluctuated from there. So they need to improve their defense. I think at least a top 10 defense. And that could come at any position. I know that the Mavericks have been linked to these versatile wings like Danilo Gallinari and Tobias Harris. And I know you guys talked about Danilo Gallinari on who the Mavericks should target. He would definitely improve their offense, but I don't think he would improve their defense. I'm not saying they wouldn't go after him, but it just surprises me they're linked to him. So, yeah, if they were going to draft a player, I would say that kind of player, a defensive wing. However, I read that report from Brad Townsend on Dallas Morning News that they were trying to trade up into the lottery, and to be honest, I think they might use that pick, but I kind of think that they're getting assets to trade for a star because that was the report that they are desperate to get a third star. And so I kind of think that they're just willing to trade what it takes to get a lottery pick so they can use that asset to trade for a star.
Yeah, because when I was looking at the draft prospects, the only people that I thought that maybe the Dallas Mavericks are targeting them is probably Obi Toppin, because I know Atlanta, they want to trade out of the sixth pick. I don't know if they trade with Dallas after how their last trade went, but if you guys can get the sixth pick, Obi Toppin is a likely possibility, and so is Tyrese Halliburton, and those are the two guys that I think would go well with the Mavericks. Tyrese Halliburton could be the other lead guard for them.
I'm really not as high on Obi Toppin as everybody else.
I really like the Tyrese.
Yeah, I like the
Halliburton
Tyrese
fit,
one. I don't know about Obi though.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, like there are some gems in this draft, but no one is extremely excited about this draft class. There are some really good players, and you guys mentioned a couple of them, but when I look at the Mavs and their history, they rarely trade up in the draft. Like at least over the past 10 years, we'll say. Like the last time they traded up in the draft was to get Luka Doncic, and there's not a Luka Doncic in this draft that we know of. I mean, other than that, the Mavericks have always traded down, including the year when Giannis was available at their pick, they traded down. So that's why this report of them wanting to trade up into the lottery, it doesn't fit the Mavericks unless there was a guy that was the next Luka. And since that guy isn't there, that's why I think that this is more just a smaller move that's part of a bigger play.
So do you have like a third star in mind? Like if you had to trade somebody, who would be the person you would take?
I mean, there's been a lot of like talk among Mavs fans about guys like Drew Holiday and Bradley Beal and Victor Oladipo, even Chris Paul. And I think all those guys would fit. I think that's more Mavs fans talking more than any insiders. Like I don't think the Mavericks, they haven't been linked to any of those guys. I would love to have Victor Oladipo or Bradley Beal. They're the kind of wings that the Mavericks need in terms of playing defense, but also being dynamic playmakers, because that's what the Mavericks really need, is another playmaker so that Luka doesn't have to make every single play in terms of either scoring or getting the assist. So Oladipo and Bradley Beal, I love those guys. I don't think the Mavericks are actually going after them. Again, the two guys that I've heard that were in that report were Gallinari and Tobias Harris. And I think both of those guys fit too. They don't necessarily improve the Mavericks defensively, but they would fit into the offense perfectly because both of them are actually kind of the same player. When you look at them, they can make plays. They're versatile scorers. They fit into roster spots, in the starting lineup that the Mavericks have. They fit into their system. So those two guys, I mean, yeah, even though they wouldn't improve them defensively, I think, yeah, they would be a much better team with one of those guys.
I actually found it really surprising when I heard this report about the Mavericks wanting to trade into the top few picks to find the third star, because you contrast that with the Hawks, who had a similar report of how they were going to try and find the third star by trading out of their sixth pick. So I do like how you're talking about it might be a smaller part of a bigger move for a star. And two of the names that you said that I really liked were Victor Oladipo and Drew Holiday. I think, like you mentioned, they're missing a little bit of that playmaking, but also defense, and both of those guys would bring exactly that. So I think that, like you mentioned, targeting a defensive-centric player, maybe not defensive-centric, but a good defender would be the most important thing, because I feel like they don't have that right now.
Yeah, I mean, they have. So obviously, Kristaps Porzingis, he can block shots. They have Dorian Finney-Smith, who is a very good defender. He's basically a 3-and-D guy. They have some guys off the bench. Maxi Kleber, who has started intermittently. He's a pretty good defender. I mean, they have some of those guys, but for the most part, you're talking about Luka, Hardaway. These guys are not extremely dynamic defenders. And so, yeah, improving on that end would help. But I mean, it's like, usually when you talk about a championship team, so people talk about defense wins championships, which is true. You generally would have to have like a top 5 offense and a top 5 defense. I don't think there's a player that makes them instantly like go from 15th on defense to a top 5 defense.
Absolutely.
But if they can get into like a top 10 defense and then pair that with an all-time great offense, I would take my chances with that.
Maybe Isaac Okoro if they were to move up.
One guy that I was actually thinking of was a guy that you've mentioned a lot for the Knicks, Devin Vassell.
Yeah, I was thinking of him too.
Great three-point shooter, really good defender at his position. He's coming from Florida State. I love what Leonard Hamilton does down there, so he's going to be well coached coming into the league. And I just think that he would fit perfectly into this lineup that they have.
Another guy from Florida State I was thinking was Patrick Williams. Versatile 6'9" forward. He locks down and he's athletic too. So I was thinking those three guys, Okoro, Williams, and Vassell, would be good pickups for the Mavericks.
But when I look at the Mavericks assets, it's like they have the 18th overall pick and the 31st pick in this draft. I don't think that's enough to move up into the lottery. Maybe like late in the
12.
lottery. Yeah, maybe late, but not enough to get a player that's actually going to make an impact right away. So when I look at that, they'd have to give up a player too. And I don't think the Mavericks have any players that I would want to give up. I would not want to move off of Dorian Finney-Smith or Kleber. The only person maybe I'd move off of is Jalen Brunson. Yeah. It's like their only asset that I'd be okay with trading.
Yeah, so the report is that the Mavericks are willing to trade anybody not named Luka or Kristaps. So I agree with you. Like, I love Dorian, Maxey, Seth Curry, Brunson, all these guys. I love them, but apparently the Mavericks they're in win now mode. And so willing to trade whatever it takes to get, whether it's they see somebody in the lottery that's just worth it, or just getting assets to trade for a star. They're willing to do what it takes, which is another reason why I'm not so sure that they really are going to use that draft pick, why they might just be using it to get assets. It's kind of like that story of that guy that traded a paperclip for something that eventually turned into a house. Like, these guys that they have maybe aren't worth a star, but if they can flip them for a lottery pick and then take their 3 picks plus whatever players are left, maybe they can get a star with that and they call it a win. We'll see.
Do you agree with the mindset, though, win now mode, with Luka being this young and Porzingis still being this young?
So to me, it's better than the alternative, because what the Mavericks, like I was saying in the beginning, what they've done is always going after the free agent, which means that the regular season sometimes doesn't matter because they have guys like on 1-year deals. And so when you talk about like going after Giannis in 2021, it's like, okay, that means 1-year deals, expiring contracts or whatever. It's not a fun way to play. It's not a fun way to watch. So I think win now is great. Obviously, you don't make any irrational decisions. You don't do anything stupid, but you make the moves that are available. You get the guys that are available. There have been free agents available. There have been trades available that they passed on, or rookies that were available in the draft, like Giannis, that they passed on because they were always going after a free agent. So, you take what's available in order to win now. Luka being who he is, being as great as he is this early, I don't think you need to wait for anything. I don't even think you need a guy like Giannis, because Luka is going to be a top 5 player in the league. So I think it makes sense as long as they don't do anything stupid, which I don't think that they will. And so, yeah, I don't mind it.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think we covered basically most of what this topic has to offer. You guys have anything to add on to it?
The one thing that I did want to add is I think a guy who they could target without even having to move up is somebody that I think has been super underrated throughout this process. I don't know if he makes it to 18, but if he does, I think he would be a great pickup. I know you'll know the name because as Seton Hall fans, we watched him a lot last year. Sadiq Bey from Villanova, who I was surprised he left, actually. I thought he was going to stay another year.
I thought he was going to leave.
But
He's
he was a top 5 3-point shooter in the country, a great 3-point shooter, and arguably the best defender. He would take on tough assignments every night. In the Big East, there was no days off. And under Jay Wright, you know he's going to be coached well coming into the league. They already had success with Jalen Brunson, a Villanova guy coming in being successful. Mm-hmm. I like the fit. And, that's if they can't find a way to move up, have to pick at 18. I think that Sadiq Bey could be a guy that could come in and give an immediate impact.
Yeah, I think if they don't move up into the lottery, they might even just keep trading down. That's just a guess, again, based on what they've normally done. But I will say, if they want to trade up into the lottery or if they want to make some kind of trade, they have a way of always winning trades. And I mean, that we were talking about the Knicks trade and how they yeah. And I mean, Donnie Nelson, he's just good at winning trades. I mean, even if you go back before the Kristaps Porzingis trade and look at some of the ones they made to get Tyson Chandler and Raymond Felton from the Knicks, they traded Jose Calderon, Samuel Dallenberg, Wayne Ellington. Before that, in order to get Darren Collison, who became their starting point guard, they traded Jan Mahimi, who was really nothing at the time. To get Tyson Chandler the first time, they traded Matt Carroll, Eric Dampier, Eddie Nahara. Like, they always have a way of winning trades, like just ultimately winning trades. And so if they want to do it, if they see something, then I know they're going to win that trade. And I know they're probably going to get what they want, whether that's, getting somebody in the draft that they think no one else can really see the talent of, or if it's just using that to get a star player. Trades is like, that's what Donnie Nelson does. And so when I hear that report, I get excited about it.
Yeah, definitely. If you said it, they have a way of winning trades, so they'll probably win whatever trade they make if they decide to move up or if they decide to trade down.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you for being on the podcast and doing this segment with us. So you can find Sydney on Dallas Hoops Cast. It's on YouTube, right? I've checked out some of your videos.
Yeah. So the site's DallasHoopsCast.com. Yeah. And the podcast is Dallas Hoops Fancast. So you can subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, everywhere. And then, we post the episodes on YouTube. The channel is Dallas Hoops Cast, and some clips too. I like what you guys do, how you post the short clips. So I started doing that too, and people really like it. I think because not everyone can listen to an hour-long episode, which I get. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's there too. Yeah. And then the site's DallasHoopsCast.com. By the way, I love y'all's show. It's really great. I love listening to it. So this was a pleasure to be on. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wait,
we appreciate it.
Where can we wave? Can she see us?
The camera's
I
right
can
there.
see all of you guys.
Yeah,
we can't see you.
We can't see you.
Yeah,
Joel
because it's
can
weird
see you.
because the computer in front of me is the one that I can see you on, so they can't see you. That's why you saw him peeking because he can't see you.
Oh, that's funny.
And hopefully,
Okay, cool.
hopefully we'll talk again during the season, and the Mavericks will be able to find that guy and make a little bit of a run.
Definitely. I hope so. I'm looking forward to that.
All right, so thank you. Take care.
Cool. I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Bye.